The global economy in 2025 faces a multitude of challenges. One of the most significant is the ongoing trade war between the United States and China. What began in 2018 with targeted tariffs has spiraled into a full-blown trade conflict. This has created significant uncertainty and disruption in the global supply chain. The initial goal of the tariffs was to protect American jobs and industries. However, the tariffs have had the unintended consequence of raising prices for consumers and businesses. They have also led to retaliation from China, further escalating tensions. The trade war is a complex issue with no easy solutions. Both sides have dug in, making a quick resolution unlikely. This impasse has far-reaching consequences for the global economy. The US-China trade war is characterized by a series of escalating tariffs. In 2025, these tariffs reached unprecedented levels. The US imposed baseline tariffs on Chinese imports, raising them to 145%. This increase, coupled with previous tariffs from the Biden and Trump administrations, resulted in cumulative tariffs as high as 245% on some Chinese goods. China responded in kind, imposing retaliatory tariffs of 125% on US goods. This tit-for-tat exchange has created a hostile trading environment. The high tariffs make it increasingly difficult for businesses to operate profitably. These tariffs are not limited to a narrow range of products. They affect a wide array of goods, from raw materials to finished products. This breadth of impact exacerbates the disruption to global trade. The aerospace industry, once a symbol of global cooperation, has become a casualty of the trade war. In a stark illustration of the conflict's impact, a Boeing 737 MAX, destined for a Chinese airline, was returned to the US due to the tariffs. This incident highlights the disruption in aircraft deliveries and the breakdown of the industry's duty-free status. Airline CEOs, facing mounting pressure from escalating costs, are deferring plane deliveries. The uncertainty surrounding the trade war makes long-term planning nearly impossible. This hesitancy ripples through the industry, affecting manufacturers, suppliers, and airlines alike. The aerospace industry's plight is a microcosm of the broader challenges facing global trade. The interconnected nature of supply chains means that disruptions in one sector can quickly cascade to others. The impact of the US-China trade war extends far beyond the aerospace industry. A wide range of sectors are grappling with the consequences of escalating tariffs and strained trade relations. Electric vehicles, a key industry for both countries, face significant challenges as tariffs disrupt supply chains and increase production costs. The consumer goods sector is also feeling the pinch. Products as diverse as syringes, aluminum foil, toys, and textiles are subject to tariffs. This translates into higher prices for consumers who are already grappling with rising inflation. The tariffs have created a ripple effect across the global economy. Industries that rely on Chinese manufacturing or American markets are particularly vulnerable. The uncertainty and volatility are making it difficult for businesses to plan for the future. The ultimate burden of the US-China trade war falls on consumers. As tariffs are imposed on a wide range of goods, the cost of everyday items has surged, leaving many families struggling to cope with the rising expenses. Tariffs on a wide range of goods have led to noticeable price increases on everyday items. From groceries to household essentials, the impact is felt across the board, making it difficult for consumers to manage their budgets. For low-income households, these price hikes represent a significant strain on already tight budgets. Families are forced to make tough choices, often cutting back on other essential needs to afford basic necessities. The cost of basic necessities, from food to clothing, has risen, making it harder for families to make ends meet. Parents worry about providing for their children, and the stress of financial insecurity takes a toll on their well-being. The International Monetary Fund projects a decline in disposable income of $4,689 per U.S. household due to the trade war's impact. This significant reduction in spending power affects not just individual families, but the economy as a whole. This reduction in spending power has broader economic consequences. With less money to spend, consumers cut back on purchases, leading to decreased sales for businesses and potential closures, especially for small enterprises. It dampens consumer demand, which can lead to slower economic growth. Retailers face declining sales, and the ripple effect can be felt throughout the economy, affecting jobs and investment. The trade war's impact on consumer confidence is also significant. As prices rise and economic uncertainty looms, people become more cautious with their spending, further exacerbating the slowdown. The uncertainty and economic anxiety created by the conflict can make consumers hesitant to spend, further slowing economic growth. Experts warn that prolonged trade tensions could have long-lasting effects on the global economy, making recovery even more challenging. Section 6. A world on edge. The looming global recession. The US-China trade war poses a significant threat to the global economy. The tariffs and counter-tariffs have disrupted supply chains, increased costs for businesses, and created uncertainty in the markets. This ongoing conflict has already led to a slowdown in global trade, affecting industries from technology to agriculture. Economists warn of a potential global recession if the conflict continues to escalate. The uncertainty is causing businesses to delay investments and hiring, which further slows economic growth. Financial markets are also reacting negatively, with increased volatility and declining stock prices. The IMF has downgraded growth projections and increased inflation forecasts, citing the trade war as a key factor. They have also warned that the longer the trade war continues, the more severe the economic impact will be, potentially leading to a prolonged period of stagnation. The interconnectedness of the global economy means that a recession in one part of the world can quickly spread to others. This ripple effect can lead to a synchronized global downturn, affecting both developed and developing nations alike. Developing countries, heavily reliant on trade with both the US and China, are particularly vulnerable. These nations often lack the economic resilience to withstand prolonged trade disruptions, leading to job losses and economic instability. A global recession would have devastating consequences for poverty reduction and economic development worldwide. Progress made over decades could be undone, pushing millions back into poverty and exacerbating inequality. The risk of a global recession is a stark reminder of the high stakes of the trade war. Policymakers must consider the broader implications of their actions and work towards a resolution to prevent further economic damage. The conflict is not just about economic competition, it's a threat to global economic stability. The world is watching closely, hoping for a resolution that will restore confidence and stability to the global economy. Section 7. The fractured supply chain, navigating the new normal. The US-China trade war has exposed the vulnerabilities of the global supply chain. What once seemed like a well-oiled machine is now showing cracks under pressure. Businesses accustomed to efficient and predictable trade flows are now facing significant disruptions. Delays in shipments and increased costs are becoming the new norm. The tariffs have made it more expensive to source materials and manufacture goods, leading to increased costs for businesses and consumers alike. This has a ripple effect, impacting everything from production lines to retail prices. The uncertainty surrounding the trade war is also forcing businesses to reevaluate their supply chains. Companies are now having to think strategically about their next moves. Companies are exploring alternative sourcing options, diversifying their supplier base, and looking for more reliable partners. This is a significant shift from the previous focus on cost efficiency. Many are even moving production closer to home. This trend towards nearshoring is gaining momentum as businesses seek to mitigate risks. This reorientation of global trade is complex and costly. It involves overhauling logistics networks and rethinking long-established practices. The trade war is accelerating a shift towards regionalization and localization in manufacturing. Regional hubs are becoming more prominent as companies aim for greater control and flexibility. Companies are seeking to reduce their dependence on long and complex global supply chains which are prone to disruptions. Opting for shorter and more resilient regional networks, businesses are aiming to create supply chains that can better withstand future shocks and uncertainties. Section 8. Shifting sands, geopolitical consequences. The US-China trade war has profound geopolitical implications. The conflict has strained relations between the world's two largest economies, fueling mistrust and undermining cooperation. This tension spills over into other areas of geopolitical competition, making it more difficult to address shared challenges like climate change and global health security. The trade war has also damaged the US's global standing. The Trump administration's unilateral approach to tariffs has alienated allies. China, meanwhile, is seeking to capitalize on this. China is strengthening ties with other countries, expanding its economic influence and promoting its presence.